What unfolds when a global superpower stakes its supremacy on a solitary resource? Once the very foundation of Russia's economy and diplomatic maneuvering, its energy empire is now showing considerable fractures, the consequence of miscalculation stemming from an over-reliance on Europe, coupled with shifting alliances in Asia. The Kremlin's ambitions have unveiled vulnerabilities that few had anticipated. The query remains: why has this resource-rich nation struggled to preserve its global influence? What implications does this have for the future of global energy politics? Join our channel as we delve into how a strategy intended to solidify dominance has unraveled, reshaping global energy dynamics in its wake. Here, we bring forth detailed, unbiased analysis to the stories shaping our world. If this kind of profound investigation sparks your curiosity, we urge you to like, subscribe, and share your insights down below. Together, we'll unravel the intricacies of global occurrences and their extensive consequences. How exactly did Russia's energy strategy go so wrong? Initially, the Kremlin's energy strategy seemed formidable, leveraging decades of dependence from numerous European countries. The Russian government believed that its energy dominance would act as a bulwark against potential sanctions, deterring intervention during its military actions. However, the very bedrock of this plan, a profound reliance on Europe, proved to be its undoing. Global markets and geopolitical alliances adjusted with unexpected haste. The blueprint to deploy energy exports as a geopolitical instrument was founded on a simplistic estimation. The proportion of Russia's pipeline gas in EU imports dropped from over 40% in 2021 to around 8% by 2023. For pipeline gas and liquefied natural gas combined. Russia now accounts for less than 15% of the total EU gas imports. This significantly hindered its capability to retaliate against international actions. Instead of capitulating, however, European nations swiftly diversified their energy sources, shifting to suppliers such as the United States and Norway. This unexpected shift was facilitated by Europe's substantial investments in renewable energy infrastructure and substitute fuel sources, which further weakened the leverage Russia once held. The Kremlin's assumption of European inaction because of energy dependency exposed a basic misjudgment of geopolitical dynamics and the capacity for adaptive resilience. Confronted with a near collapse of its European market, Russia turned towards China and India, two of the world's largest energy consumers. Although these markets provided some respite, the dynamics were far from advantageous for Moscow. China increased its imports of Russian crude oil by 8% in 2022, while India stood as the third largest purchaser of Russian fossil fuels in December 2024, contributing 20% or 3 billion euros to Russia's monthly export revenues from its top 5 importers. Both nations exploited Russia's predicament, demanding substantial discounts that significantly reduced profit margins. Further, logistical complications including extended transportation routes and the expenses associated with creating new infrastructure further eroded revenue streams. The power of Siberia. TU Pipeline, for example, has been bogged down in negotiations with China, who leverages its dominant position to dictate favorable terms. This underscores how the pivot to Asia, while strategically necessary, has failed to compensate for the loss of Europe as a principal market. The financial consequences of this miscalculation have been severe. According to budget documentation, total budget revenues from oil and gas sales are projected to decline to 10.9 trillion rubles, approximately 17.53% of the gross domestic product in 2025, from 11.3 trillion rubles expected this year. This decline has stressed Moscow's fiscal resources, forcing it to rely heavily on reserves. Additionally, deferred maintenance on aging energy infrastructure in Siberia has compounded operational challenges, making restarting production exponentially more costly. The disintegration of Russia's energy dominance reflects a wider lesson concerning over-reliance on finite resources and singular markets. While energy may seem an unassailable asset, the quick restructuring of global markets and geopolitical partnerships reveals how even the most entrenched plans can fall apart when confronted with concerted resistance. The ongoing drop in Russian energy exports serves as a stark reminder of the inherent dangers in using economic tools as devices of geopolitical influence. As these developments unfold, It's apparent that the consequences of this misjudgment reach beyond the energy markets, affecting global power structures and underscoring the fragility of strategies built on unbalanced dependencies. Can Russia truly count on new markets like China and India? Russia's shift toward China and India, following its economic isolation from Western markets, highlights both the possibilities and fragilities inherent in such a strategic maneuver. While these two populous nations present significant potential as energy consumers, their approach to negotiations embodies pragmatic self-interest rather than alliance-driven cooperation. China, the world's leading energy consumer, has strategically exploited Russia's position. According to reports, Russian gas exports to China have increased substantially, with agreements such as the Power of Siberia pipeline boosting gas flow to 38 billion cubic meters annually by 2025. Yet the terms are heavily skewed in Beijing's favor. Reports indicate that China demands prices comparable to subsidized rates for Russian domestic consumption, giving them a significant advantage in discussions. This power dynamic underscores how dependence on a restricted market can erode a seller's leverage. India, which now regards Russia as its top crude supplier, saw largely steady imports of 1.76 million barrels per day in 2024, slightly down from 1.79 million barrels per day in 2023. This pricing strategy ensures immediate revenue for Moscow, but undercuts long-term profitability. Moreover, India's diversification of energy sources, including increased imports from the Middle East and the US, demonstrates that its reliance on Russian oil is driven more by cost efficiency than strategic necessity. Russia's turn eastward also exposes logistical and infrastructural hurdles. Transporting energy across Siberia's vast and challenging terrain necessitates significant investment. For instance, the Power of Siberia 2 pipeline remains uncompleted, and reports indicate that construction on the Russian side began before securing a firm commitment from China. This misstep gives Beijing considerable negotiating leverage, permitting it to dictate terms as the project advances. While exports to China and India offer temporary relief for Russia's energy-dependent economy, the discounted rates and added transportation expenses have slashed revenue. Analysts argue that although Asian imports partially offset losses from Europe, they cannot replicate the scale or profitability of pre-war markets. Russia's eastward shift has ripple effects on global energy politics. As Moscow increases its dependence on these markets, other energy-exporting nations such as the US and Norway have expanded their presence in Europe and beyond. This diversification weakens Russia's once dominant position in shaping global energy trends. Furthermore, ethical concerns raised by enhanced energy dependence on nations engaged in conflict remain contentious. As noted by The Guardian, China and India's energy partnerships with Russia underscore the pragmatic calculus of international relations. Their approach shows how geopolitical shifts often create both opportunities and constraints for major energy players. Although these relationships provide short-term economic relief for Moscow, they also signal a loss of strategic parity. The shift to China and India reflects a needed adjustment for Russia, yet it underscores the challenges of relying on limited markets under less favorable terms. The dependence on discounted energy exports to sustain its economy reveals the precariousness of Moscow's current strategy. This recalibration also highlights the broader geopolitical transformations reshaping global energy dynamics, where economic pragmatism increasingly dictates relationships over ideological alignment. Perspectives on this topic vary widely, reflecting the complexities of navigating a volatile global energy landscape. How is Ukraine affecting global energy politics? As Russia encounters challenges in sustaining its energy-driven economy, Ukraine's strategic initiatives further complicate Moscow's ambitions. These actions are not only reshaping the dynamics of the war, but also altering the global energy and geopolitical landscape, eliciting varied responses from the international community. Ukraine has emerged as a disruptive force in global energy politics, strategically targeting Russia's energy infrastructure to weaken its war economy. Drone strikes on key oil refineries have reduced Russia's refining capacity, forcing reliance on imports from Belarus. These strikes, while tactical, are part of a larger strategic effort to degrade Moscow's capacity to sustain its military operations. reshaping the dynamics of the ongoing conflict. This tactical approach extends beyond immediate gains. By disrupting Russian energy production, Ukraine undermines the Kremlin's ability to finance its war effort, a critical blow given Russia's reliance on energy exports for federal revenues. The Financial Times describes these strikes as a masterclass in asymmetric warfare, showcasing Ukraine's capacity to adapt and turn one of Russia's traditional strengths, its energy sector, into a liability. These maneuvers also act as a statement of Ukraine's resolve to resist despite its smaller economic and military capacity. Ripple effects from these actions extend globally. As Russian exports decline, nations like the US and Norway have stepped in to fill supply gaps, increasing their energy exports and securing new markets for European countries still dependent on Russian energy. Ukraine's tactics have accelerated diversification efforts, though not without challenges. The Guardian highlights the ethical complexities these tactics pose, raising questions about the implications of expanding warfare into critical civilian infrastructure, a move that could set a controversial precedent in modern conflicts. Ukraine's energy maneuvers further symbolize a shift in geopolitical strategy, where energy infrastructure becomes both a target and a tool. This recalibration shows how smaller nations can influence global energy politics through calculated disruptions, even against larger powers. Observers note that while these actions are effective in the short term, they carry potential risks such as retaliatory strikes or unintended consequences on global energy prices. Additionally, Ukraine's actions resonate as part of a broader effort to challenge Russia's geopolitical influence. By leveraging energy as a strategic domain, Ukraine underscores the interconnectedness of modern conflicts, where the battlefield is not only physical, but economic. This strategy highlights the evolving nature of warfare in the 21st century, where critical resources are both the prize and the weapon. This evolving situation illustrates a recalibration of power dynamics in the region. By targeting energy infrastructure, Ukraine forces a global conversation about the ethics, risks, and strategic implications of economic warfare, redefining the role smaller nations can play in influencing major global players. These shifts emphasize the nuanced and interconnected realities of global energy politics today. Is Siberia's energy infrastructure beyond repair? As Ukraine's tactical strikes on critical energy infrastructure reshape the conflict dynamics, the challenges faced by Russia in sustaining its domestic energy infrastructure come into sharper focus. This transition highlights the interconnectedness of geopolitical maneuvers and internal vulnerabilities, particularly in Siberia's vast and unforgiving landscape. Siberia, often described as the backbone of Russia's energy industry, now faces unprecedented challenges. Decades of neglect combined with the harsh Siberian climate have rendered much of its infrastructure vulnerable to decay. Reports suggest that the cumulative impact of underinvestment, international sanctions, and operational disruptions have placed the region's energy facilities at a critical juncture. The infrastructure in Siberia was largely constructed during the Soviet era and designed for continuous operation under strict maintenance regimes. However, deferred maintenance over recent decades has left these systems ill-equipped to handle extended downtime. According to the Moscow Times, this lack of upkeep, exacerbated by extreme weather conditions, has led to frequent equipment failures in oil and gas facilities. The situation worsened after sanctions limited access to essential replacement parts and repair technologies. Storage capacity, a crucial element in energy logistics, has become a significant hurdle for Siberia's energy operations. By late 2023, storage facilities in the region had reached full capacity, forcing the shutdown of numerous extraction sites. Without buyers for its output, Russia has struggled to maintain operational continuity. Analysts from Energy Intelligence warn that prolonged inactivity could make reactivating Siberian facilities prohibitively expensive and logistically complex. Transportation infrastructure also presents a major challenge. Pipelines that once carried Siberian oil and gas to Europe and other global markets now stand underutilized or require costly repurposing. The diversion of exports to Asia introduces further logistical complexities, as much of the infrastructure connecting Siberia to China and India remains underdeveloped. This infrastructure crisis carries both domestic and international implications. Domestically, energy-dependent regions in Siberia face economic strain, with public dissatisfaction mounting as local economies falter. For example, a state of high alert declared in Yutz in late 2023 highlights the urgency of addressing energy shortages. Globally, the disruption of Siberia's energy supply impacts international markets, leading to fluctuating energy prices and increased reliance on alternative suppliers. Restoring Siberia's energy infrastructure requires substantial investment, but Russia's fiscal constraints present a significant barrier. Sanctions and falling energy revenues have depleted national reserves, limiting the Kremlin's ability to finance large-scale infrastructure projects. Additionally, the geopolitical climate discourages foreign investments, further narrowing Russia's options for recovery. While some commentators view Siberia's challenges as a consequence of Russia's strategic overreach, others emphasize the broader geopolitical context. Publications such as Global Times suggest that China's expanding energy partnerships with Russia could provide a pathway for limited rehabilitation, though these efforts may prioritize projects serving Chinese interests. Regardless, the road to restoring Siberia's infrastructure is fraught with uncertainty, underscoring the region's role as a focal point in the broader narrative of Russia's energy struggles. As this crisis unfolds, it serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of global energy systems and the risks of neglecting long-term infrastructure sustainability. The varying perspectives offered by global commentators highlight the complexity of the issue and its far-reaching implications. Whether Siberia's infrastructure can recover depends on Russia's capacity to balance immediate needs with strategic investment, a challenge complicated by its current geopolitical and economic environment. What can the world learn from Russia's energy struggles? Siberia's energy infrastructure highlights the profound link between economic policies and physical realities. As maintenance costs increase and storage capacity decreases, the broader consequences reverberate outward, reshaping the geopolitics of energy. These challenges lead us to consider the lessons the global community can draw from Russia's energy struggles. The shifting dynamics of global energy politics underscore the delicate balance between dependency and autonomy. Russia's energy strategy, once a cornerstone of its geopolitical influence, reveals how over-reliance on resource exports can create vulnerabilities when external conditions shift. One key takeaway from Russia's situation is the importance of diversification. Nations heavily dependent on single markets or regions for energy exports, such as Russia with Europe, risk severe economic consequences when those markets evolve. The European Union's pivot away from Russian energy has not only undermined Moscow's revenue streams, but also accelerated investments in renewable energy and alternative suppliers. The United States was again the largest supplier of liquefied natural gas, LNG, to Europe, EU 27 and the UK, in 2023, accounting for nearly half of total LNG imports, according to data from CDAS. Last year marks the third consecutive year in which the United States supplied more LNG to Europe than any other country. 27%, or 2.4 billion cubic feet per day, of total European LNG imports in 2021, 44%, or 6.5 billion cubic feet per day in 2022, and 48%, or 7.1 billion cubic feet per day in 2023. Another lesson lies in the role of adaptability. Energy politics, as illustrated by Russia's challenges in negotiating with China over the Power of Siberia 2 pipeline, demand flexibility and foresight. China's insistence on deep discounts reflects the leverage buyers can exert when a seller has limited options. This situation emphasizes the need for exporters to maintain diversified markets to avoid dependence on a few dominant buyers. The role of technology in securing energy independence is also evident. Nations investing in renewable energy, nuclear power, and energy storage systems gain resilience against external shocks. For example, Ukraine's targeted strikes on Russian energy infrastructure, as reported by BBC, illustrate how modern conflicts increasingly involve critical resource disruption. Finally, global energy politics remind us of the interplay between ethics and economics. American media have highlighted concerns over sourcing energy from regions embroiled in conflict or authoritarianism. The rise in scrutiny over Russian energy exports parallels growing global efforts to balance economic interests with ethical considerations. These reflections, viewed through diverse national perspectives, demonstrate the complexities and challenges of navigating energy geopolitics. While no single narrative captures the full picture, the overarching lesson is clear. Resilience and adaptability are paramount in a rapidly evolving global landscape. As we conclude this analysis, the complexities of Russia's energy strategy provide profound insights into the shifting dynamics of global geopolitics. The unraveling of Russia's energy dominance serves as a cautionary tale of the risks inherent in over-reliance on resource exports, the importance of diversified markets, and the interplay between domestic infrastructure and international influence. The challenges faced by Russia, from its faltering infrastructure in Siberia to strained negotiations with Asian markets, underscore the interconnected nature of energy economics and global security. As nations observe these developments, the lessons are clear. Resilience through diversification, innovation in energy technology, and adaptability to shifting global demands are paramount for long-term stability. Our channel's content is provided solely for informational and educational purposes. While we strive to present balanced analyses on political and military topics, the opinions expressed do not represent the views of any government, organization, or political entity. Our primary goal is to foster constructive conversations that promote peace, reduce conflict, and advance understanding across borders. We encourage viewers to think critically, carry out independent research, and consult multiple sources. Our channel maintains its impartial stance and does not advocate for any specific political agenda, ideology, or course of action. We aim to provide thoughtful, balanced perspectives on the most pressing issues shaping our world. This discussion is a reminder of the broader goals shared by humanity, fostering a peaceful and cooperative global environment. The lessons of Russia's energy struggles extend beyond borders, offering an opportunity for nations to reflect on how collaboration and sustainable practices can prevent future crises. If you found value in this analysis, we invite you to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth discussions. Let's continue to explore the forces shaping our world with clarity and curiosity. Thank you for watching our channel, and let's strive for a future grounded in understanding and peace. End of script. And now, here are the additional elements. Introductory words. Friends, a lot of important events have taken place recently, and today we'll be analyzing them in detail. Before we delve in, I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel, like this video. This is really very important for the channel's growth. Write in the comments where you're watching this video from. Let's find out where our channel is being watched from. Reminder, remember, be sure to watch until the end of this video, because all the main conclusions will be at the end.